Got a little slow down here in the woods. It's just truth is all I'm speaking. So black people that are in Africa, it's been studied, are happier because everyone around them enjoys their company. Here in the United States of America, there's racism. They throw things at them. There's fights that break out. People are killed on the street just because of the color of their skin. It's actually been proven to be true. So they're not as happy here. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I actually did have some disruption in my church, and there was racism. And I'll tell you what happened, okay? There was a man that was black that went to my church named Jamal Smith. He was married to a white woman and had 2 children with her. They stopped going to the church for a while. Now, they attended my wife, who was white. They attended our wedding and were very close to my wife, who was white, and she hung out with them. My wife, my ex-wife, Angel, she claims to be a Christian. Now, there was some racism that was involved in our church, but there was also some adultery that happened too. So a spiritual leader had slept with another woman and got her pregnant, and that got released in our church. My ex-wife told me all about it. Now, after a while, I became very fearful of my family, and I did not know if I could trust people in the church because they were open about this happening for a reason. The racism got worse, and eventually she took the kids and she ran off with basically some black people, and they got her and she left, and one of the guys called me in celebration. Not Celebration, Florida, but I'm talking about in celebrating, meaning he had to celebrate it. His voice was full of celebration, meaning he was happy when he called me. And he basically bragged that he had my wife and children and that he was not going to return them. And there was a way that he did that. Now, my suggestion to him is to get a ticket and to go to Africa. Leave my wife and children here because I feel in my heart that they belong to me and that you belong in Africa. You ever heard the song Africa? Listen to it. Weezer did a remake of it. You know, I bless the rains in Africa. Well, you know what? Go back. Because you treated me wrong. You don't deserve to be an American. I think this man would be happy in Africa. So I'm kind of on the side that he should be a good candidate to go to Africa. And he'd be real happy. Because he could go there and he could take wives and children there, and they'll do something to him that they won't do here. Okay? So when he goes off to Africa, okay, and he goes and gets someone else's wife and children, they're going to treat him very differently than they would treat him here. So I suggest you go, hey, Jamal, go to Africa and try to do what you did here and see what happens to you. Fair game, buddy. Response is quick. But let me tell you something. He's not going to get away with it. Not with his own people. We have to allow him to get away with it because of how America works. So he has a big smile on his face. He's been playing homie all day, right, with my children. They got the fade haircuts. They got them all listening to probably Eminem, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and all that kind of stuff, right? He's probably got them listening to rap music, gangster rap music, got them dancing and laughing. Look at those crazy white kids trying to be black, right? I don't think it's funny because I don't approve of any of that. You understand? I don't approve of it anymore. So if Jamal Smith is a big man, if he's a big old man like he thinks he is, then he can get a one-way ticket to Africa and try to start it all over and see how they treat him there. See what's going to end up happening to him. You know what's going to end up happening to him? Just the trees. That's all it is. Just the trees. That's what they'll do. And when you're out there in the woods, you remember my name, Jamal Smith. Don't call out Jesus Christ's name when you're out there. You'll call out Cole Spivey's name. And guess what? I'm not going to come for you. I'm not going to go. And when you called me, you know what you said on the phone to me? I said, who is this? And you said, this is Jamie, right? You watched that little movie, didn't you? You spread bad gossip about me in front of my children. When you're out there in the woods in Africa, running for your life, don't call out Jesus Christ's name. Call out my name, Cole Spivey. Because guess what? I'm not going to answer. Do me another favor while you're at it. Why don't you call out Jesus Christ's name and see if he comes for you? Make a promise to you. I'll make a promise to you. When you're out there in the jungle in Africa and you call out Jesus, that's all that's going to happen. You're going to hear his name echo in the wilderness. You're going to say, Jesus Christ, help me, and his name is going to echo in the wilderness. Just like my name will echo. It'll sound exactly the same. Because those names will be the names you will only hear for the remaining of your days until you shut off and you're no longer existing. So, Jamal Smith, now that you know you have to accept my challenge and go to Africa and live there, and if you don't, then you're not a man. So go back to Africa, find your happiness, and you can go out in the jungle and you can scream out those names, and you'll only hear an echo. Have fun. And also a message to all other men. Be careful. This is a nature center right here. Be careful who you mess with when it comes to family. Be careful. Don't mess with other people's families. Do not run off with other people's wives, and do not run off with other people's children. Be careful. Because when you run off with other people's children, you end up not being able to handle it. And then you end up having to run from everything. Jamal wasn't able to handle my family, so he had to let him go. Just like every other man that steps in his place won't be able to handle my family. They will let him go. Eventually, Angel will probably end up returning to me with the children. And this whole channel will change because it's probably going to become like Walt Disney World or something. Okay? But don't allow other men to be a wedge in your family, with your children. Do everything in your power. Let the whole world know and give names. Just like I gave the name Jamal Smith. Give out those names so people know. That'll protect you. If you tell on them, they'll get busted. Okay? And she'll return. It's important to give the names because we live by our names. My name is really Cole Spivey. That's my real name. It's my middle name and my last name. But be sure to find the names and give out those names because those names can be traced. And that's how you can get your family back. Jamal Smith is a black male. And he's probably about, 5'8" or so. Pure muscle. And that's why he feels the family belongs to him. He feels the family belongs to him because he's pure muscle. That's no reason to take a white person's family away. It's weird as walk by this place. It's got all this equipment, but there's nothing in it. It's like, what in the world was this? No advertisement, nothing. It's like someone's gonna start something. Got a list of people from the actor studio that I want to talk to. Harvey Keitel, go F yourself, you selfish pig. Robert De Niro, you're a snob. Joe Pesci, I'm not afraid of you, you're a little twig. Will Smith, you're a wimp. And you're not even part of the actor studio. So you know what? Y'all can all go. Listen, I don't care about Bradley Cooper. He's gay. So y'all can have it all. I don't care. I'd rather have what I have than be gay like Bradley Cooper. He's an idiot. And one last thing about the actor studio is I don't blame Alec Baldwin for what happened on the set of Rust. I blame the actor studio. And I think Alec Baldwin should sue the actor studio. Because if you look at the actions of the actor studio, that led to Alec Baldwin shooting that lady on set. Okay? Not everything lasts forever. The reason why Alec Baldwin shot the lady cinematographer on Rust was because he was trying to be method. He was practicing over and over again with the gun. He wanted to feel the weight of the gun. He wanted to know the gun. He wanted to shoot the gun as much as possible. And that's why he shot that cinematographer. I blame the actor studio for their behavior. I blame the actor studios for their obsessive behavior among other actors and for transferring their sickness into people. I blame the actor studio for being method and for hurting other people, getting people addicted to drugs, for probably killing James Dean. It was probably led to Lee Strasberg, who killed James Dean. He confessed about it when the tape recordings, when he cried about calling James Dean dangerous when it wasn't even his fault. They made him famous and they killed him because a college kid got excited and didn't know what to do and did an illegal left-hand turn almost as if to reach out to touch James Dean, and it killed him. That was the actor studio's fault. Not everything lasts forever. I don't recommend the actor studio for actors. I think that they're wrong, just like Marlon Brando thought they were wrong. I don't like how they insult people, how they put fear in other people, and how they think they're right. Because let me tell you something, they're not right. They're better teachers. And if any of them are doing drugs, I expect the New York DEA to arrest those that are, including Harvey Keitel. Any of them doing drugs, they should be in prison for endangering other actors and other artists and for not being good. That's why the actor studio is bad, because they're not good. So when you go to prison, Harvey Keitel, you can get a big old box of crackers, just like you did in the Paul Auster film. And you can shove them in your mouth and cry. And I'll tell the security guard, or I'll tell the prison guard to make sure that Harvey Keitel gets plenty of crackers so he can eat them and cry as he eats them in jail, which is where he's going. Right, I do not recommend the actor studio in New York City. I do not recommend Pace University. I don't even really recommend the New School. Especially the actor studio, I do not recommend it. They're selfish. They will not give back. They will not help you as an actor. Do not go that route. This is a warning to all actors. They're not going to help you. They're only going to help other famous people. They don't care if you're small time. They will not help you. They don't care you did a Broadway show. They don't care what movie you did. They're not going to help you. They're selfish. So if you're an actor out there today, avoid the actor studio. Also, avoid the Pace University program that's known as the Actor Studio Drama School. It's a big ripoff. They won't help you as an actor. They're selfish. The way Harvey Keitel and Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, and the actor studio can poison you is if they're under the influence of that poison. Taxi Driver poisoned America. Last Temptation of Christ was protested because it was poisoning family. They had to be under the wrong type of influence. And they were under the influence when they made those films. And they need to be stopped. Because they're...
The customer requested you handle the order. They added the following instructions. Hand it to me. We'll need driver outside house.
They're putting people under the wrong type of influence because they're under the influence of drugs. And they're not clean. And they need to be stopped. If you're an actor and you're trying to get to the actor studio, don't go that route. It's poison. They're only going to get you smut. The only thing they worship is they worship evil. And they're going to poison America with evil. Don't go that route. Go a route that's good. These people are evil and they need to be fired. The Hollywood Studios does not need to give Martin Scorsese $200 million to make a drama. That's mafia money. That needs to be investigated by Congress. And they need to be locked up so that they can't poison. They're going to poison you. They need to be locked up so they cannot poison other people. Because they're evil people and they need to be stopped. Same with the actor studio. It needs to be stopped. All right. Now that that's done, I burned that bridge. I'm not going to go the actor studio route. I'm not going to do that route. When I mean the actor studio, I mean James Dean. I mean Marlon Brando hated him. I mean Lee Strasberg. I mean the actor studio right over there by Birdland in New York. I'm not going that route. They're evil. They teach smut. They're wrong. They're mafioso. It got corrupted right after probably the death of James Dean. It started becoming corrupt. And they're mostly mafioso. They can't be trusted. They need to be investigated by the FBI and the DEA and clear out all the drugs and smut and prostitution and everything that's going on with Al Pacino and all that stuff. It needs to be cleaned up. Okay? So that's not the route that I'm going. I have to find my own route. The actor studio people claim they can break the law in New York City because their method, and that's part of their art. So they can deal in abortion and prostitution. They can deal in drugs and murder and all that stuff because it's just simply art. It's not art. That's an excuse. They're criminal. That's what I saw when I went to the actor studio. That's what I smelled in the air. I smelled crime. So I left. Because these guys are mafioso. And let me tell you something. There is no mafia in America anymore. I ended it. Just like that. The mafia is done. Coppola, you're done. The mafia is done. There is no mafia anymore. You put your life on the line, you achieve your success. There is no mafia. The FBI is corrupt. The DEA is corrupt. And the only people that's going to stop the mafia are people. There are people out there that are not corrupt. Those are the people that are going to help my channel grow. It's not the actor studio. They're part of the mafia and they're corrupt. They'll be stopped by people. They will not be stopped by the FBI. They will not be stopped by the DEA or the ATF. The mafia can only be stopped by people. The people will rise up against the mafia. And that goes the same way with the problems that we have in the Texas border. People will rid crime in Texas. People will do it. It won't be the police force. They're corrupt. We as a people are going to have to push up against Mexico and make sure we stop them from coming in and bringing in smut. We're going to do it all the way from Texas to New York City to Canada. We're going to stop the smut. We're going to stop people that are evil. And people are going to rise up against people. And the good people are going to win. Did you know that? Good people are going to win over the mafia. Good people are going to overcome. We're going to rise up and we're going to stop them. Non-lethal style. We're going to handcuff them. And we're going to throw the mafia in prison today. All right, that's enough talk about the mafia and the actor studio. Now, we're just going to talk about just going forth. Just going forth and doing what we have to do. And I'll show you, so come along with me. I mean, my goodness. One goes out to all those actors back in the day that passed through the actor studio that were treated like trash. They always wanted to stand up and talk against those bullies. But they couldn't get on a radio station. They couldn't get on a television show. They couldn't be interviewed by anybody because the actor studio tried to make them nothing. Okay. Who did Marilyn Monroe hang out with? Marilyn Monroe? She hung out with a guy named Arthur Miller, who was real big in the actor studio, who probably was tied up in getting her killed with the drugs and pills and stuff like that. They found her with pills. I believe they found her naked too, didn't they? That was all connected to Arthur Miller in the actor studio. They made her take off all her fun makeup and change her voice so that she would be real, and then they killed her. This person's from Oklahoma. They just killed James Dean. They also killed Marilyn Monroe. And then they made Marlon Brando real fat. It was real weird how they did that. They used to deliver McDonald's to him right to his doorstep. These people are the evil of the evil. They actually made Marlon Brando so fat he had trouble getting out of bed, especially towards the end. He was miserably fat, and they hated him. The actor studio hated Marlon Brando. But he was the best. But his drug, of course, was McDonald's. You got to be careful. The things that they do with sense memory and stuff. You have to be very careful. They'll be sued by other actors because we have this thing. We can talk and we can let everybody know. We can be on a radio station just like that. Just like that. So everybody can hear. And all we have to do is press a button. We don't need the actor studio.